Hello guys, we are back with our next lecture. In this lecture, let us go through space complexity. Okay, so basically once you hear the word space complexity, please recall or please remember the word of main memory. So basically space complexity is all about main memory. Okay, so because whenever a program is executing, that program will be brought into the main memory. So the main memory space is what the program will be consuming. Like, don't consider it as secondary memory, because secondary memory is just a storage to store the data, whereas main memory is where the programs are executed and everything is done in the main memory. So basically space complexity is not so important when compared to time complexity. Time complexity is really important. Okay, so in this lecture we'll be discussing about space complexity. Like, I think so in our further lectures we'll be continuing with time complexity, where space complexity is kept aside because it's not widely used nowadays. Okay, so they'll be doing for projects and everything, but when compared with time complexity is most important. Okay, so space complexity. The space complexity of an algorithm indicates the amount of temporary storage required for running of the algorithm. That is the amount of memory needed by the algorithm to run to completion. So that is what nothing but the main memory. So main memory, we know that is nothing but a temporary storage. Okay, so I hope everyone got a clear idea on this. Okay, so let us continue. There is a small formula, that's not a formula, that's just a small addition. So they wrote in terms of formula so that it will be clear. Okay, so S of P is nothing but space complexity of a problem or an algorithm. Space of problem or algorithm or program. Okay, so C plus SP. C is nothing but the fixed cost. Okay, so we'll be discussing about fixed cost also, don't worry. SP is nothing but the variable cost, which is dynamic. Okay, so basically when you write a program, it will be having two things. Like, sometimes you will be taking input from the user, and sometimes you'll be directly defining the variables. Okay, sometimes you'll be directly defining the variables and you'll be assigning the values to it. So that's the reason why we are having two different costs. One is fixed cost and one is variable cost. So fixed cost, that is independent on input. Okay, so the user will not be giving any input in this situation. Okay, so this include space of code. So even the code which we wrote will also occupy some space, and space of the simple variables which we have defined, fixed size of components. Like, you wrote a class, that class has many objects, so in that way the size also will be keep on increasing, and the space of a space of constants. So you'll be defining constants and everything. So whichever are predefined or written already will comes under the fixed part. Whereas dynamic is nothing but whenever you are giving, or any kind of recursive functions, like they are generating on spot. Okay, space for reference variables like int x, you'll be taking input from the user. Okay, see in x, so in that situation those comes under dynamic or variable part. Okay, so if you take a small example here, so we'll be discussing about 3 to 4 examples so that you'll be having a clear idea. Okay, so this is a small algorithm which was given. So algorithm xyz, so the name of the algorithm is xyz, and xyz are passed from the main, and it is just asked to return x plus y plus z. Okay, so here is there any definition like int x, int y? So there are nothing like that, but you are using three variables, right? X, y, z. So these three variable values should be stored somewhere, right? So this occupies one, assume that one unit. So each of them occupies 1 unit. So this is fixed, right? So we are not manipulating it or anything. So it is just a function that will be taking it. So it's mandatory to collect those three things. So it will be having 3 units, and these 3 units are used here. So 1 plus 1 plus 1. So it will be giving you the 3 units. So this is the fixed, it comes under the fixed cost. Whereas the variable cost, here we are not collecting anything variable, so it will be 0. So the result will be 3. The space complexity of this small algorithm. 3 units, don't say 3 MB, KB, those are not given for us. So we'll be just considering them as 3 units. Okay, so let us take one more algorithm. Okay, so here algorithm, assuming that it is doing addition of an array of elements. Okay, so initially it is assumed that s equal to 0. So initially you are storing s equal to 0. So start from here. So this occupies 1. So here for of I equal to 1 to n. So here it is 100% clear that it will be going from 1, 2, 3. So if n is 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is nothing but 5. 5 is 5, then n, right? So n equal to n, that's it. That's what I was trying to say, n. So that is nothing but the n. So it takes n steps. So after that, s equal to s plus a of I. So this has s which we have already given, s takes 1. So array of I elements. So array takes 1 and I also takes 1. So I'll be just writing it here only. So I also takes 1. So in total it takes 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 plus n. So it takes a total of 3n. Okay. So return a. Inside, so I have just written a small explanation so that whenever you are reading this it will be clear for you. A is inside loop 1 to n. So here we are having a loop. So it takes n times or n units, you can say. To be clear, please mention units. So n, the element or the variable n carries 1 unit, s carries 1 unit, I carries 1 unit. So to be simple, you can just write the variable names. Each variable will be carrying 1, 1, 1. Whereas the loops or iterations, they will be taking the maximum. Like 1 to n means it will be taking n in that way. Okay, so 3 plus n. 3 plus n units. Okay, so I hope this algorithm's space complexity is 3 plus n. So it's a bit clear. Okay. So let us move on to the next one. Algorithm sum a comma n. Okay. So here this is a recursive algorithm. So if you observe here, if n is less than or equal to 0, then return 0, else return a of n plus sum of a comma n minus 1. So if you observe here, it is calling itself. So these kind of algorithms or functions called as recursive functions or recursive algorithms. So basically it calls itself. Okay. So assume that, so for these kind of algorithms, we'll be just taking some small examples to understand how it is happening. So it is given that less than or equal to 0 will be going inside, else we will be doing this. So assume that 0 to n operations we are doing. So n is nothing but the value which was given or passed into the function. So assume that 0 to n means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this part 1 to n is nothing but n. So here we are having one extra. So this whole process, the depth of the recursion will be n plus 1. Okay. Similarly, what is happening inside the recursion? Okay. So inside the recursion we are having a, n, okay, and a and n. Okay. So we will be considering the a will be carrying 1 unit and n will be carrying 1 unit and return will be carrying 1 unit because it is using to return, right? So it is going to back again and it will be returning. Like the recursive algorithms, if you are trying to trace them, you can use in this way, like a tree structure. So one is tracing other, one is tracing other, in that way. Okay. So it will be carrying 3 into n minus 1 because this n minus 1 are the recursion steps and each recursion is having 3 units inside it. So it will be 3 into n minus 1. Okay. Space complexity is not so important when compared to time complexity. So that's what I have just told you initially. Okay. Okay. So basically, I think for this here we are having semicolon. That's the reason why we took here n. Please, I think I didn't mention that. Semicolon is there. So that's the reason why we took n. Okay. So I hope it's clear for you. So in the next lecture, we'll be continuing with the time complexity. Thank you. Thanks for watching.